Hello core engineering family. In this video we are going to discuss about the one document that is process design basis. This document process design basis is also known as the heart of the process engineering. Okay, so whenever you do the basic design engineering package, whenever you do the basic engineering package, so one document, the first document which you prepare, that is the process design basis. Okay, so what is process design basis, how we prepare this process design basis, what is the importance and significance of the process design basis, what information you could get from the process design basis, that we are going to discuss in this video. So if you are a process engineer, if you are a new process engineer, if you are a student and looking a job in the process engineering domain, then this video is must for you. So please watch that video till the end and get the inside information, right? So if you want to know about the process design basis completely, then watch this video till the end. Okay, so here I have prepared one cover page of the process design basis to tell you about the how the process design basis document looks like. Okay, so this is the cover page of the process design basis. You could simply see here, this is your header. Okay, so in the header you provide the information of the client. Okay, who is your client? Let's suppose in my case the client is IOCL. Okay, and my contractor or licensor is the Technip. Okay, so these both logos I have just taken from the official websites of the IOCL and Technip, and these logos or this information is only for the reference purpose or for the study purpose. Okay, if you know about the Technip, so Technip is one of the best company in the EPC field. Okay, there are other companies as well like McDermott, Fluor Daniel, Saipem, etc. And there is the client, that is the IOCL. Means the client is IOCL. Okay, means you are preparing the process design basis for the IOCL, and the contractor or licensor is the Technip. Means the BDEP, who is preparing the BDEP? Technip is preparing the BDEP. Okay, for IOCL. Are you getting my point? And there is the project. Means what is the project that you will mention here? Okay, let's suppose that project could be about the refinery. Okay, that project could be for a particular plant, that could be a DM plant, that could be any other plant. Are you getting my point? What I want to say? Then in the footer you will mention about the project, that could be the number. Basically about the client you will mention here the page number, it could be one of, let's suppose 50, 100, anything else. The document number you will mention here for your reference, who is the author and what is the revision you are mentioning here. Okay, so that you will mention. I hope you understood about the cover page. So now just understand that what information we provide in the process design basis. Okay, so this is very important for you, and I'll simply say you, please watch this video carefully, because this video is going to be very helpful for you if you are a fresher. So the first information which we provide in the process design basis, that is the introduction. You will give the information about your project. Okay, what is your project, what is the background of your project, that information you will provide in the introduction. Means who is your client, what is the location of your client. Okay, let's suppose it could be within India, it could be outside India. Okay, so geographical location simply you will write here. Okay, what is the capacity of the plant? Okay, that you will mention in the introduction, or whether you are doing the engineering or procurement or commissioning, that you will mention in the introduction. I hope you got my point. Then the next information which you give in the process design basis, that is site and ambient condition, right? So why this information is important? This information, okay, that is site and ambient condition, is provided by the client. That information is provided by the client in the kickoff meeting or after the kickoff meeting. Okay, why this information is important, site and ambient condition? Because on the basis of this condition, okay, the information which is provided in the site and ambient condition, you do the design. Okay, like you do the design of the cooling tower or chiller, or whatever the equipment which you are using, where ambient condition could play an important role, there site and ambient condition plays a very important role. For example, In the site and ambient condition, you will find out that you will get the information about the temperature. Let's suppose if your client plant is in the, let's suppose in the Europe, your client plant is, okay, and there is the another client whose plant is in Indonesia, and there is the third client which plant is in Australia, okay. So the site and ambient condition is going to change, means minimum and maximum temperature is going to change, wet bulb temperature is going to change, wind speed is going to change, right? And also the electric power, means voltage, is also going to change. Are you getting my point what I want to say? So it will affect in the designing. Whenever you will design your heat exchanger, your cooling tower, your chiller, or any other equipment which you are going to design, so that design will be affect. That's why what we do, we ask client to provide the site and ambient conditions. This document is provided by the client and which we mention in the process design basis. I hope this point is clear to you. Now the next information which we provide in the process design basis, that is your process description. That is your process description. Okay. So what we provide in the process description? So basically how your plant, means in which principle your plant is going to run, what are the section is there, that mainly we provide in the process description. Means you will, so briefly you will describe your process. Okay, let's suppose if you are doing the one BDEP for the urea plant, for example, for the urea plant, so you will give the process description, like how this urea will be manufactured, okay, how this urea will become the urea from the raw material. What are the raw material for the urea? That is carbon dioxide and liquid ammonia. Okay, so how you will describe that? First of all, you will describe that this urea plant is based on XYZ technology. That could be Toyo, that could be Sanam Progeti. Okay, let's suppose if we take the example of the Sanam Progeti, then you will also describe that there is the, first of all, there is the reactor. Okay, in reactor the liquid ammonia is coming from ammonia receiver tank, and the carbon dioxide is coming from the compressor section, and after that it goes for the decomposition, and after the decomposition it goes for the simple concentration. Okay, and after that it goes for the cooling tower, right? So this is the process description for the urea plant. Same will be for the sulfuric acid plant. What you are doing, first of all, you are melting the sulfur, then you are sending it to the burner, then via sulfur filter you are sending it to the burner, then after the burner it is going the converter, then in the absorption towers and drying towers, and after that it will go into your storage section. Are you getting my point what I want to say? So that is the process description. Okay, so about the each document we are going to discuss in detail. Okay, so if you want the video about the each topic, like what is the process description, what we consider in the process description, so let me in the comments box, so I'll prepare the individual video about the each topic. Right, now the next information is design data. So in the design data you will provide the information about the what is the plant capacity, right? What is the plant capacity of your project? What will be the turn down and up down range? What is the annual running hours? What will be the daily running hours? Are you getting my point? What will be the concentration of your raw materials if there is the gas or anything? What will be the purity? Simply you could say what will be the conversion, what will be the efficiency, that you are going to discuss, or that you are going to give the information in the design data section. There are the other information also we provide about the like what is the end product, and that all that we also provide in the product specification. Then the next information we give about the product specification. So what will be your end product? Like if there is the end product is urea, let's suppose if there is the end product is urea. Now what information you will provide in the urea? You will provide that what is the concentration of that urea. So let's suppose if it is the 99.9%, then you will give the information about the what is the free ammonia is there, what is the moisture is here, right? So in the end product, what you will give to the client, means you are giving here, you are giving the surety to the client that in the end, if you will buy the like license from us, if we do the BDEP for your project, or if we do the EPC for your project. So we will provide you the debt efficiency or debt concentration of the product, that is 99.9% urea, or let's suppose 0.5% free ammonia, like that. Are you getting my point? So that is the end result which you will provide to the client. So that information is provided in the product specification section. I hope you got my point. Now the next information is which we provide in the process design basis, that is the raw material specification. Okay, what is that? Basically it is, if you are manufacturing the urea, then what are the raw materials? So the raw materials are simply your liquid ammonia, that is NH3, and the carbon dioxide. Okay, and there is the steam and all that other information we will give that detail in the utility specification. Mean like liquid ammonia and carbon dioxide is your raw material for the urea manufacturing, right? So you will provide the information about the NH3 and carbon dioxide, means what is the purity of the NH3, what is the pressure, temperature, okay, and what are the other traces within the this ammonia in this carbon dioxide. That information you will provide in the raw material specification. Let's suppose there could be the moisture, there could be the water vapors, there could be the other traces of the composition, like it could be hydrogen and it could be any other composition of the gases as well. Okay, so that you will mention here, because this is the what raw material we are going to use to manufacture our product. Okay, this information is very important while designing the plant. Then the next information which we provide in the process design basis, that is your chemical and consumables specification. Okay, so I just remove here this one. Okay, what are the chemicals you are going to use and what is their consumption? That information we provide in the chemicals and consumables specification. So if the chemicals, if there is some chemicals if you are using, that could be your catalyst, that could be your any other chemicals, okay, that you are using as an additive, so that information also you will provide here. That could be activated alumina, that could be like vanadium pentaoxide, that could be any other, right? So that information you will provide in this section. Now the next information is we provide about the utility. Okay, whatever the utility you are using, like utility consumption and specification section we provide, where we give the information about the utility. Okay, in the utility, what is comes in the utility? That could be your DM water, that could be your process water, raw water, that could be your steam, that could be your high pressure steam, low pressure steam, medium pressure steam, that could be your nitrogen, instrument air, plant air. So that all information you provide in the utility consumption and specification section. Okay, what you will provide here, you will provide here the quality. For example, if the process water is coming from the client, let's suppose, so he will send you the one result of the process, like whatever the process water he will provide you, if he will provide you any process water, so what is its TDS, what will be its pH, what will be its hardness, pressure, temperature, that all information is provided by in the process water sheet, right? Same if you are like let's suppose if you are mentioning here the DM water, so what is the pressure and temperature you will mention here. What will be the, if you are mentioning about the cooling water, so what is the incoming and outgoing temperature of the cooling tower, of the cooling water to the cooling tower, what will be the wet bulb temperature, what is the if you are using the nitrogen, so at which temperature and pressure you are using the nitrogen in the plant. Okay, what is the purity of that nitrogen? So that all information is provided in the utility and consumption specification. I hope you are getting the point. Same, if you want to know about the in detail about the each section, so you could simply let me in the comments box, so I will prepare the individual video about the each section. Now in the like last we prepare about the one section about the storage facilities. In the storage and facility section, what we provide that we have manufactured our product, so where this product will be stored, there will be some tank, okay, there will be some division where we will store this product. Okay, so that storage facilities information we will provide in the storage facility section. Are you getting my point? What am I saying? Okay, let's suppose if you are storing the ammonia, so in the ammonia there is the storage tanks. For that, storage tanks are double layer type, okay, that we will also discuss later, okay, in our videos. But what am I telling you, wherever you are storing the product, so you will give the information about that, right? And in the last, we give the information about the design codes and standard. What is that? Actually, this information is provided because, like, if we are designing the tanks, okay, so at which standard we are going to design that tanks. If we are, let's suppose, designing the heat exchanger, so at which standard we are going to design the heat exchanger. Same for the walls, for the fittings, for the pipings, and all other information with respect to design codes and standard is provided in the your process design basis. Okay, so if there is any special requirement from the client side, so we also mention in that design codes and standard. Let's suppose if that plant we have to commission in the Australia or in the Ethiopia and in the any other location, so that information with respect to design code is also mentioned here, so that we could procure with respect to that. Are you getting my point? What am I saying? So that is the information which is provided in the process design basis. There could be some other minor and major information could be also mentioned in the process design basis. That is also depends to project, but mainly this information we provide in the process design basis. Okay, so that's all for the today's video. If you have any doubt in this video related to the any topic or any section, please let me in the comments box. I'll definitely clear your doubt as soon as possible. So if you have any suggestion, please let me in the comments box. If you learned something new from this video, so please like this video, share this video to your friends. Okay, so thanks for watching. Till then, keep learning.